All right, popping back in for the last segment for this week, which is one of the best weeks for boxing this year. And what we have coming up is fight of the year, possibly fight of the decade, maybe even the fight of the century. We'll see how it how it mans out. But this is our version of um Hagler, I mean, not Hagler Hearns, but I think more of Leonard versus Hearns right now. We have the top welterweights who are coming in there at or near their prime, undefeated. They hold all the marbles, all the belts. Not only that, they're within the top 3 or 4 fighters pound for pound, and we get an opportunity to see them fight in the ring to determine supremacy, not only at welterweight, but possibly for pound. We'll see though, with this results this morning. There's a lot, but if there's a spectacular showing, you never know how that's going to kind of sway people's opinion. But we'll start off with Boston Jared. And we want to first, before we give our pundit picks, and we also want to recognize Casual Rand. He's not able to kind of make this episode, but we will give his pick at the end. First, just give us a breakdown of the fight. Talk about each of the fighters, their kind of attributes and some of the advantages that they have in there, and then we'll kind of go to each pundit to get their own unique breakdown of how this fight is going to play out inside that squared circle.
Uh, so as far as advantages and disadvantages, I'll be honest with you, there aren't a whole lot of advantages that I see in for Errol Spence here. The handful of advantages that he does have, he is the naturally bigger guy. Although I think because he's been at this weight for so long, I think that at this point in his career, that might be more of a disadvantage than it is an advantage. Man, it's a lot of shrinking down and blowing back up. Shrinking down in training camp and then blowing back up the night of the fight. I mean, Spence was a 152-pounder as an amateur back when he was a teenager. So he's actually cutting more weight now as a full-grown man and is coming up to his mid-30s than he was as a teenager. And that obviously has a whole bunch of adverse effects. You don't want to be shrinking down too much, especially against a big puncher like Crawford, who is coming up and is not having to shrink down as much. But Spence is the naturally bigger guy. I think he might be a little bit more durable shot for shot. I think we've seen Crawford wobbled and hurt before. I know the knockdown against Kavaliauskas didn't count, but to me it looked like a flash knockdown. And we've seen him hurt against Gamboa. I don't think the same can be said for Spence. So I think Spence has got the durability in his favor. I think he's got the natural size in his favor. But that pretty much is where it ends. Every other single.
What about resume at that weight?
Yeah, resume. I think I would favor Spence's resume, but I personally, one of my hard and fast rules of boxing is that styles make fights and not resumes. Yeah. But in regard to the experience that he brings in to the ring, yeah, maybe he's fought the better guys at 147 pounds. Well, I don't want to say maybe. I'll say yes, as I think I've been on record as saying that I do favor his resume at 147 pounds to Crawford. But none of that stuff is going to help him Saturday night. Every single other measurable aspect of boxing, I favor for Terrence Crawford. Speed, timing, reflex, offensive skill set, defensive skill set. I give Crawford the advantage. This fight stylistically is worst case scenario for Errol Spence. Errol Spence is a guy that wants to press forward. He's kind of like he's a pressure fighter, an attrition fighter. He wants to get on his front foot, close that distance, break you down to the body, and then head body, and it's death by 1,000 punches. He doesn't have that one shot, one hitter quitter type of power that I think you need to beat a guy like Terrence Crawford. If he had demonstrated that kind of one shot power, I think this fight is a lot closer in my mind. Being the way it is, he's not that way. And he has not shown us to have that one shot type of power against the higher level guys in the division. That type of style, that volume punching, come forward style, is a style that plays perfectly into what a guy like Terrence Crawford wants you to do. He wants you to come forward. He wants you to throw lots of punches to provide him with those counter punching opportunities. And Errol Spence, I think this fight could get real ugly. Go ahead. What were you going to jump in?
One thing I want to say, and I just want you to kind of respond to this. So when you kind of talk about that style, I think about a kind of a less refined version, and also kind of looking in the mirror, and that is Sean Porter, right? So Sean Porter is not as technically sound as a Errol Spence, but he has a similar type of style, right? Very aggressive going forward. And at the time, he was stopped by Crawford, but at the time that he was stopped, he was ahead on all of the scorecards.
Yes. And the one thing I will say about that fight is that, and I'm glad you brought that up, because I was going to bring it up. I was going to try my best to bring it up at some point. Porter, for that fight and a couple of other fights towards the end of his career, opted to not fight in a way that Sean Porter traditionally fights. And I think this is the key for Errol Spence to be able to make it to the 12th round and to be able to hope for the best on the scorecards. The way to trouble Terrence Crawford is to make Terrence Crawford initiate. Don't allow him to counter. Make him initiate, and then you counter Terrence Crawford, because when you counter him and you counter him with volume, that's what Sean Porter did. Sean Porter waited on Crawford, fought off his back foot, was content to let Crawford come forward, and Crawford would posture, he would feint, he would do all these things, and when he finally did throw a punch, Sean Porter would respond with volume. Jose Benavidez Jr. implemented a similar game plan where he did not initiate.
Took the name right out of my mouth.
Where he go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say, I surprisingly, that was one of the fights where I thought Terrence got him out of there, but I thought that was one of the fights where he had the most trouble. Like you could see him thinking in there, like, okay,
yeah, same,
like,
yep.
I thought that he seemed to have trouble just kind of mentally like finding a way to kind of get to his opponent. And I think because of the way that he fought, like he made, Terrence Crawford lead a lot of times, and he was able to counter there. But you took the thoughts right out of my mind in there.
That is the key to troubling Terrence Crawford. Now, I have never ever seen Errol Spence fight that way, but mark my words, once he finds himself in trouble in this fight, and he will, he being Errol Spence, because Terrence Crawford's gonna hurt him or he's gonna sit him down at some point in this fight, probably around the halfway point. You will see Errol Spence go into that game plan should be in Derrick James's deck of cards, so to speak, is to get on that back foot, make Crawford initiate. Do not come forward. Do not give him those counter-punching opportunities, because that is exactly what Terrence Crawford wants you to do. And I think that given some of the stuff I've heard Errol Spence say in the lead up to this fight, I think he'd rather go the distance and survive than go out on his shield doing what it is he does best, and that is coming forward. I think he'd rather take his chances and hope that Al Heyman has got his back. And I don't want to go too far down that rabbit hole. I think Errol would rather take his chances with the judges if he finds himself in trouble and if the fight is slipping away from Errol Spence. And I think that he will find it slipping away from him somewhere around the seventh round, the 8th round. But I don't want to talk too much. Let's get Dave in.
Let's bring in Coach's perspective on there. Do you agree largely with Boston's kind of breakdown of the fighters, or kind of give us your point of view on the advantages, the disadvantages that each of them may have going into this fight?
Well, first and foremost, I'm hoping that these jokers do not come in, because people talk a lot of talk. But first and foremost, I'm hoping these jokers don't come in with too much respect for each other in the ring. Then that's going to make for an absolute dull and boring fight. You know what I'm saying? Just don't come in there, Pacquiao, Mayweather, whatever, just don't come in there totally overly respecting one another. Though you should have that decent respect, right? I just don't see Earl fighting the way that Boston was saying. You know what I'm saying? I don't see Earl waiting on a counter punch, and it just, you fight how you fight, and you fight what you know. So in terms of the breakdown, man, some of the advantage that I would give to Earl, I agree with. I think Earl, the size, I think Earl has a nice body attack, but I'm gonna come back to you because people sleep on Terrence Crawford's ability to go to the body, and in particularly that hitting that sternum, like right up the middle, going to the body. People sleep on that stuff. But I think in terms of attributes and stuff, so yeah, Earl, I say size, I say the body attack. I say Earl might have a tighter defense. And I have been talking to you guys. I think I even sent you a clip. I think Crawford's best chance, to be honest with you, might be on the exchange and on the inside. Terrence has a tendency to be a little wide with his stuff. And I think I talked to y'all about how Earl got this kind of sneaky short left, almost a very short hook brick hand hook mixture that he can knows, but a lot of people don't recognize it and see that thing. On terms of attributes, the Crawford, look, man, this cat, already know this joker just more versatile. I think this cat is just definitely faster. I think this guy is has the ring acumen to take advantage of Earl when he gets hurt. I think the angles of the punches that's going to be coming. I think the fluidity of where he goes from southpaw to orthodox, and Earl hasn't really fought a whole lot of southpaw people. I don't even know how many he's fought. So I think just Terrence got a lot more that he can throw at the table. I do think that I don't want Terrence. Terrence got to worry about finding himself behind, because he is waiting on that counterpunch stuff, a little bit too much. But I don't think he's gonna have to look for Earl, and I think that's gonna be the key to the fight. Is I don't think Terrence is gonna have to look for Earl. I think Earl catches him a little bit with a body shot. I think Terrence in the earlier rounds might even stay there a little bit just to say, okay, while I'm fresh, let me feel what this stuff feels like to the body, and I know whether to get in there or not. I mean, it's best to test the fighter, with your earmuffs on and you're in there to see what he got. I look for Earl to if Earl comes in leaning with his head like he always does. I mean, he makes that instead of bending at the knees, he'll bend at the waist and it make his body look like that number 7. I think he's gonna have one of them uppercuts come from an angle that unheard of angle, and it's gonna clip him. It's gonna clip him.
Good night. It's gonna be good night. You ain't gonna have a chance to look for your dentures, Errol. It's gonna be night.
And he gets a lot of leverage on those uppercuts. I mean, he gets a lot of leverage on it, but those uppercuts are pretty vicious and stuff like that, and they come at a very kind of unique angle. But go ahead, Coach.
So the main thing, my 2 points would be this. I gave y'all the attributes. My 2 points would be this. I think Earl has a better chance in the exchange, in close, because of how wide Terrence punches can be. If he straighten up that left hand down the line, I think that's going to be very dangerous for him. And on the flip side of it, though, I think Terrence has a better chance, in the exchange behind Earl's aggressiveness and coming forward. And I just look for that uppercut hook, man, to do a little something to Earl. And going back to Terrence's body attack, man, I think people sleep on that thing, man. This guy has a sneaky uppercut, man. I don't know if you can call it a body shot uppercut. I don't know what you call it, but he comes so close to hitting guys dead in that sternum, man. You know, and it's like I think he's gonna about take that stuff up to the head, but man, he drops that thing down to the body, man. So I wouldn't be, you know, shocked if he's touching Earl a little bit to the body, but I just see that uppercut and Earl bring that head past his kneecap being a problem for him.
All right, so I mean, those are great breakdowns. So I'm just gonna go and kind of call out some you know, what we would consider vital physical kind of attributes, and y'all just kind of call out, you know, saying who you think, you know, has the advantage. All right. So when it comes to power, Spencer
Crawford.
I don't know, man. That 50-50, bro.
That's kind of, I would say Crawford has the more shocking type of power.
That one shot, just one shot.
Spence, he's got more of a thudding type of power. It's close to 50-50. I would give maybe a slight advantage to Crawford.
Okay, but let me push back on that real quick, man, because you can't when you're comparing power, right? Especially when it's so close. And the reason why I say it's going to be hard to even go 1% up or down is because you got to look at the style of the fighters. Earl Spence likes to go to the body. So we might not can say, you know, he don't have that one punch knockout, whatever, because his style of fighting is to break you down. As to where Crawford's style of fighting is, let me counterpunch and get to that chin or to that head. So I look at how hard those shots are on that body, and I can see it hurting the chin. I look at how hard those shots are on that chin, and I can see it hurting the body, you know, from Terrence angle. So I just need you guys, what's my word? Holistic look. Look at the style of the fight. I say 50-50. That's just my thing, but that's the reason why I say it, because I'm looking at it also taking into account Earl likes to go to the body and break that thing down. Crawford likes to counterpunch and get to the.
Well, and then one thing I think that people may lean towards Crawford is that I don't think people realize, but I think Crawford has stopped his last 10 opponents. And Spence, as powerful as he is, he'll let you stick around for the fight. Even some fighters that shouldn't be staying around, like Danny Garcia and Mikey Garcia. But Spence,
I don't. You say he's letting guys stick around?
Well, I don't. So for example,
he just don't have the same kind of one punch power that
he
Crawford.
But like
Crawford has superior timing.
Like, you don't think if he would have been reckless that he could have got Mikey Garcia out of there?
I don't know. Why wouldn't he? Why would he let this little guy stick around for all that time, man? Nobody. You don't get paid for overtime in boxing. Nobody letting nobody else stick around, with rare exception. And I will say, I'll go back to the Inoue Butler fight. We talked about Inoue in our last segment. Yeah. Inoue carried that guy Butler for a lot of that fight before he decided to get him out of there. Errol is not letting a dangerous puncher like Danny Garcia. He's not letting a guy like Sean Porter. You don't think if he could have knocked out Sean Porter in 4 or 5 rounds, he'd have done it? He's not letting these guys stick around. He don't have the same type of timing.
There's sometimes your brain is at a contest with your body. So I think that because Errol Spence is so defensively responsible, that I think sometimes his brain just won't let him just kind of you know, just go balls to the wall and just take this guy out, you know. And this is me just speculating.
He is a caveat to that defensive response. Sorry, go ahead, Dave.
Go ahead,
I got to stick with Boston on that one, man. Look, man, anytime you're getting in the fight, you hoping you trying to knock the motherfucker out, man. You trying to knock a joke. That's just it. And Earl is just so much on the kill the body, the head follows ideology or mentality in the fights, dude. He just ain't, you know.
That's true.
Some people
But
got tougher. So
yeah.
he ain't let.
But with that said, I would give the slight advantage to Power just because to Crawford, just because of the fact that he has 10 straight knockouts. All right, speed.
Crawford.
Oh.
I
think that's pretty easy.
Yeah, and let me tell you something. Errol gonna find out the hard way. Inoue taught us earlier today how important speed is. Speed kills.
But what's the coach knows this? But what's the counter to speed?
It's timing.
Timing.
It's timing. But it ain't that easy. It's great. I mean,
No, it's not that easy. But
right.
you know, like Errol Spence is an all-time great fighter, right? So
he is, but I don't know. We just talked about punching power. And one of the reasons that I think Errol has a tough time getting certain guys about it, I don't know that he has the same timing. Look at a shot like the shot that Crawford hit Brook with to get him out of that fight. Was some sort of weird like push jab type of a punch that did not look like it was the hardest punch in the world, but it was so well timed. It was such an timed punch. Errol Spence to me has not demonstrated any kind of high level offensive timing. He's an attrition guy. He doesn't care about timing. He wants to hit you over and over and over again.
Well, no, he wants to break your will inside there, and he's been pretty successful at it. How about inside fighting?
Because this is where the defensive responsibility of Errol goes out the window. He's a very, very responsible defensive fighter at long range, right? When he's leading with that southpaw jab of his, and he's throwing that what can be a looping left hand. Even when he leans, he'll lean and reach sometimes. He usually has enough distance where he can get away with it. On the inside is where it gets real crazy for Errol Spence. He bends over at the waist. He throws looping, wide shots. And for a counterpuncher like Crawford, that's a wet dream for a counterpuncher like Crawford.
I mean, that's good. I mean, who would you get advantage to then? I mean, I think
on the inside, I think Crawford. I would say definitely Crawford. Definitely Crawford.
I'm gonna go against that, man. I'm gonna say Earl. Now you know
I'm gonna go against that too.
I do hate how he bends at the waist. And remember one time at work, man, Jared, when we was watching the Sean Porter fight, this cat was bending them uppercut, and I kept telling you over and over again, multiple times, uppercut is gonna be the death of this kid. It's because how he bends over. But one thing I will say about Earl though, now look, even though he throws those wide shots on the inside, most of the time he's coming behind a jab and putting something out there, checking anything that can come. You know what I'm saying? It's so I like sometimes, even though he bend at the waist, he'll at least try to go shoulder to shoulder.
He does. He tries to place his head in the areas and keep it safe. So
yeah. So I still think he vulnerable, but I would give the edge slightly to Earl on the inside.
I would too. I just think that Earl gets a lot more of his. I think he gets a lot more of his meals from inside and stuff. So he just a little bit more comfortable. I mean, Crawford is accomplished. He can do his thing, but I would take Earl's inside game.
Crawford
how about countering? How about countering?
On that inside, he's wide, and that's why I sent y'all that stuff. I'm saying, man, I'm gonna be worried when they're on the inside if Crawford is in there a longer time if he hasn't tenderized Earl a little bit.
That left hook that he hit, not Martirosian, Jesus. Sorry for all the Armenian listeners out there. Avanesian, the left hook that he hit Avanesian with, that was a textbook left hook. There was no, usually you see guys throw that left hook, you see that elbow leak out here and they rechamber out there. That left hook was like a left hook out of the boxing textbook. He turned that thing over,
it was 6 inches.
That left,
it didn't travel more than 6 inches. No.
Man, that was woof. And Martirosian, Jesus, Avanesian didn't even see it coming.
Right.
No, had no idea what even happened. So I agree with Dave to an extent, but I don't think you're gonna see those wide punches I think you on the
Okay.
inside, what you'll see is Errol winding up like he normally does, and what you will see is catch, shoot, catch, shoot, catch, shoot, or grab, walk him back, or grab and turn him and spin Errol around, which is what Sean Porter was able to do very
Right.
effectively. As Errol began to close that distance, Porter was able to use that crazy Barry Sanders footwork of his and turn him.
Yeah.
Which is another thing that I'm hoping you're going to get to, Cam, is footwork.
Well, I mean, yeah, we're getting through the list. How about countering?
Sorry.
Say again.
You said what?
Countering ability.
Crawford.
Yeah.
Crawford.
Crawford. We don't even need to dwell on that one.
Defense.
And look, let me hold on for a second. Let me say this too. So speed counterbalance is that timing to a power shot, somebody that's digging hard, a counterpunch neutralizes that power a little bit. If you
Yeah,
catch
absolutely.
it.
I think that's how he dropped. He dropped Porter off of like a left hand upper hook counter. It was like just basically sat him on his butt. Defense.
Wow.
Now this is an interesting one. Because I have criticized Crawford about that's the one thing that keeps him in that. I evaluate Crawford as a B+, A- type of a guy. And the one thing for me, B+, A-, the one thing that keeps Crawford out of that solid A-level category is his defense. To me, is he's not as dynamic defensively as I like my A-level fighters to be, right? And I have look, Mike McCallum, James Toney, Pernell Whitaker.
I mean, Floyd Mayweather. Come on, that might be the best defensive fighter.
Rigo, Wilfred Benitez. You said what?
Shakur?
Yeah, sure. Well, yeah, I'm not going to throw Shakur up there with Mike McCallum and James Toney just yet. But the point I'm trying to make is that those guys have levels to their defense. Changing levels, bending at the waist, not just on the right side, but on the left side. Defense with the feet. Defense, basic defense that Errol really excels at. Catching, blocking, rolling. Terrence Crawford, to me, shows that a little bit, but he defends a lot more with his legs than he does the other ways that I like to see guys.
And I
defends a lot more with his legs.
I think he's particularly vulnerable from the southpaw stance. But that might be his more powerful stance too. So there's kind of a give and take. But I think that he's a little more defensively responsible from the right hand, from the orthodox. But I would give Spence the advantage here. The only thing with Spence is that he doesn't counter a lot. If you throw combinations at him a lot, particularly from the outside, he'll keep his hands at home, right? So he's not really kind of like looking to kind of catch and shoot. And he has a bit of a flaw in that he goes back in straight lines. Like he's got good footwork, and we'll talk about that. But sometimes if you throw at him, he'll kind of go back in straight lines. Particularly early on in his career, he's worked a little bit better on kind of pivoting a little bit better. But I still think that because he has a very solid stance, and just the basics he's kind of mastered defensively. His hands when I even think about it, they just come back to where they're supposed to be. And I think Crawford kind of leaves his hands out there sometimes. Versatility.
Oh, Crawford.
Yeah, I think that
let's not dwell on that.
Going through the attributes, man.
Versatility. How about body punching?
Spence.
Yeah,
I'll say Spence. I think Crawford is underrated, as Coach said.
He is.
We got to give it.
He is underrated. He is, but Spence that's his bread and butter. To me, is the body attack. It is a bit crude at times with the bending at the waist, a little bit of reaching, but you know, he has a lot of faith in that chin of his, in his durability, and he's got a serious engine. He's going to keep coming, and those body punches, he's able to generate really, really, really good leverage. I mean, the power that he hit you with to the body in the first round.
Yeah.
You said what?
No, I'm saying great leverage. Like, I mean, I know that he's broken a few ribs in there. Somebody who's had cracked ribs from taking a hard body punch.
Yeah, he is body work he's a much more effective and committed body puncher than Crawford. Crawford's a guy who dig to the body with one shot here or there, but that body attack, I think, is designed at setting up shots to the head, whereas Spence's body attack is just aimed at just setting up the next body shot. It's not. He's trying to destroy that body.
Yeah, he's trying to break it down. He's trying to take away your will to fight, your will to stand in there. How about Coach? Go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to say, you know, in terms of durability on that chin, I think Earl might got a false sense of.
No, we're gonna get to that. Hold that comment though. Hold that comment. All right. How about explosion or explosive power?
Crawford, without any question. One punch, explosive. He's the more dynamic, explosive athlete. I don't think there's no question in my mind about that.
Nah, I'll say that's about a tie, man. I think he might be the most, out of the two, he might be the most effective in the explosion, but that's simply because it goes back to, I think, the style of fighter. I think Earl can explode, man, and cripple a joker's body and catch an eye, no different than look at what he did to Ugas. But I think Terrence Crawford is one that knows how to tap the body and target the head successfully in the same way that Earl knows how to target that body successfully. But I think they both can explode. Crawford to the head and catch you and hurt you, or Spence exploding to the body. So explosion, when I explode, my target is still my head or my body in this sport, and I can execute it in either way. So I would say it's probably a tie on that thing.
For me, I would give a slight advantage to Crawford. I think that he's a little more twitchy than Spence. He's a little more. Spence can. I mean, he's a beautiful fighter, but he can be prodding at some time, or he seems to be kind of a prodding fighter. Even like with his jab, it just kind of, you know.
We're getting to footwork at some point, right?
Footwork is next. Footwork is like, so who you think has the advantage in footwork?
It's Crawford, and it's not even close. That fight where Errol decided to box Mikey Garcia for 12 rounds, I was shocked at how clumsy he looked at times, trying to bounce and float around and putting on his best Floyd Mayweather imitation. He's a guy that needs both feet firmly planted on the ground, moving in straight lines. He can get out. He can turn from time to time. Pretty good. No, that guy has got. You'll never see him salsa dancing or cutting a rug at the local dance club. He's not that guy. No, those feet of his. He's almost got two left feet. He ain't got Danny Garcia type feet. Well, I say Danny Garcia. I shouldn't walk that back. He doesn't have bad feet. He just don't have good feet. He's got very, very, very average feet for a high level box. For a high level box.
I agree with him, you know, but understanding why. So then let me put a little what I would look at how he does the mitts. Look at how Derek James trains. You know, effective jab, straight jab, coming forward with it. Look at how he does the mitts. That's his. There you go. There go your
Blaxican. It's a Blaxican style.
Right. There you go. So no, that's an easy one, man. We ain't even got to.
Yeah, I mean, I think Crawford has the advantage. I think Earl has improved his footwork. I mean, I I don't know if it's underrated, but I think that he does little you know, kind of small, you know, nuanced things with his footwork, particularly when he's trying to like move fighters into certain positions to kind of get us, you know what I'm saying? So it's a combination of footwork and also, you know, leveraging his body and stuff like that. I think that he has improved in that area. I think early on he showed a lot of the deficiencies in that area, but I think Crawford is a lot more dynamic with his footwork. He's somebody that is an accomplished boxer from the left and from the right side. So I think you would have to lean towards Crawford. All right, last but not least, the good old chin. We can say chin durability, but you know, who do you think has that? Who takes the cake here?
Spence, I think. Yeah, I think you chin durability is Spence.
Nah,
Oh,
no.
you think Crawford has a better chin?
Look, man, I'm trying to check you out. Listen. I don't know if it was Garcia or Ugas, but those 2 times that Earl got clipped, he totally blanked, man. He blanked. And so what I'm getting at is that when fighters get hit, now listen to me. I had a fighter that was fighting at 154. When he get a hard hit on the chin, I mean, his legs get just wobbly. It went straight to his legs, you know. When I was fighting and even sparring, I got clipped on it. When I get clipped in the chin, I literally just kind of get dazed and I stumble. It don't really go to my leg. I get dazed, you know, and blurred vision.
Yep.
Earl, so every fighter responds or reacts differently when they get clipped, you know. Sean Porter, when my man when Broden dropped him, when Spence dropped him, he gets up. That boy got a durable chin. He down, he up. Earl Spence, when he gets clipped, he looks like Terry Harper when daggone Alicia Baumgartner clipped her. He freezes, dude. He is discombobulated, and Terrence is gonna jump on that thing. So I can't say my man chin been solidly tested or if it's durable. I think he has an immobilizing chin, a crippling chin to his. I'm talking about to his entire being when he's clipped. That's what it shows. And Ugas just looked at him like he was like, you know, did you drop something? Go ahead on and pick it up, Mr. Earl. You know what I'm saying?
Dave, do you think that that's the weight cut that's finally catching up with him?
Man, no, that's you getting hit on the chin, bro.
Okay, all right. No, because look, we've seen him take solid shots. Younger Errol, this is the one thing that I would have given Errol. I'm surprised to hear you. I thought you were going to caveat that with younger Errol. I thought was an extremely durable guy. Now, obviously, younger Errol, this is pre getting flown out that damn Ferrari at 110 miles an hour. That certainly didn't help, right? But I still think the kid is shot for shot. He's durable. You brought up when you get clipped, the shot going to your legs. Terrence Crawford reacts the exact same way. You hit Terrence Crawford right here above, and it's right above the ears. You hit Crawford here, right above the ear. You hit him behind the ear. His legs turn into ramen noodles. Now, he responds. You saw it in the Kavaliauskas fight. He gets back up, right? And he seems to have his legs, but I don't know. Maybe I'm being nice because I haven't given Errol much of anything in this conversation. It's interesting though. It's an interesting observation. I'm gonna be giving him a round. I'm gonna give Spence. But no, I truly believe that Errol is the more durable fighter, even now after sucking down to 147 pounds for almost his entire boxing life. You know, I still think he's the more durable guy. But
yeah, I think he has slight advantage, I think. And then, but you know, we've seen Terrence do a little bit of a dance, and the thing with, you know, and I do see what Coach is saying, that Errol Spence has a time, he has these mental lapses. Like sometimes, like he'll be in the middle of a fight, and this guy will be looking down and he did it against both fighters. He did it against Ugas and he did it against Danny Garcia. And you know, he has excuses. I think he thought he had lost his veneers at one point. I'm not sure what happened with the Danny Garcia, but the guy almost seems to not know where he's at. You know, like
But Cam, did you hear what he said? This was during the All Access, and this was mind blowing to me. Did you hear what he said? He said, I thought my veneers came out, and then my next thought in the middle of a championship fight was, what are they going to say about me on social media if my veneers came out?
Yeah.
That to me was one of the most mind-boggling. You're in a championship fight, and after you get hit with a good solid shot, you thought your veneers, but your thought isn't protect myself, go, cover up, punch back. The next thought in your mind is, what are they gonna say on social media? Yeah, that's alarm bells are ringing. If I'm an Errol Spence, if you were picking Errol Spence before he said that, that comment should give you a lot of pause. And I'm glad you brought that up, because again, he finds himself in trouble in that Crawford fight. His next thought, because he already told us how his train of thought is. His thought is not going to be bite down on my gum shield, get back in there, close the distance, whatever. It's going to be, if I get stretched by Terrence Crawford, what are the memes they're going to make about me on social media? And he will go into survival mode. You'll see Errol Spence on his back foot. He will, in his mind, he'll say, no, fuck this. I'll go to 12. I think Al has got my back. Let me just get up out of here. We just go to 12 rounds. I'm not giving this guy a chance at knocking me out. Because before he said that comment, I would have said Errol is going to go out on his shield. He's going to go out doing what he does. He's not going to try and be cute and kind. He's going to come forward, and if he loses coming forward, he loses coming forward. After he made that comment, I said, nope, something happened to him. I don't know if it was on his rise to success. No, he's going just want to get up out of there. Give me the decision. That's how I took that. Maybe I'm reading too much into it, but that is what he said, right? Did I have that?
Yeah, he is. It is. I mean, it's a lot, right? You know, we got to realize that they're, you know, we look at them, you know, as these warriors. They're still, you know, outside of the ring, they're still brothers, fathers, and, you know, partners and stuff. So,
what do you think Crawford's thought was when he got buzzed by Yuriorkis Gamboa, when he got knocked out?
You already know what his thought was. Like,
you think it was, what are they going to say about me on social media?
No, he's like, I'm getting that back.
This motherfucker's face
I'm getting that back tenfold. Or no, this guy, you know, hurt me. He's got this mean streak about him that I absolutely love. But with that said, we're at the part of the show that everybody has been waiting on. We are giving our pundit picks. I'm going to give you the odds really quick for this fight. These are pretty much even odds, but Crawford comes in at a slight favorite at a -150, and Spitz comes back as the underdog at +120. For all intents and purposes, that's basically a pick'em fight, right? $100 bet will get you 120 for Spence, bet on Spence, and then to get 100 back on Crawford, you got to bet 150, whatnot. But,
yeah, make that bet now, because I suspect that those odds will be completely even by Friday, right? Crawford was a little bit higher favorite was a better favorite last week than he is.
He was a -175 last week, so it's been getting almost pretty much turning into a pick'em fight. But with that said, Coach Dave, can we have your pundit pick for this fight?
I'm going with Crawford by stoppage.
Woo!
Which round you pick?
Would you round
10 or
10?
under.
Oh, man,
Wow.
he stole my round.
All right, go ahead, Boston.
Damn.
You can share the love.
Crawford, nah. Crawford by stoppage, round 9.
Yeah, I said 10
Crawford
or
by stoppage, round 9. Uppercut out of the orthodox stance. Right uppercut out of the orthodox stance. Catches arrow leaning, overextending, right uppercut, boom, done.
Wow.
Out.
All right.
Out.
So
Face first, eyes open, grab the mouthpiece, put his dentures back in, out. Right uppercut.
I think it, and let me add a little bit. I think he drops Earl. I think Earl gets up, and I think he finishes him.
I can see that too.
I mean, if that happens,
Or they stop it.
I mean, if he stops Errol Spence, I don't see how you can keep him away from that number 1 pound for pound position.
Hey, we said the same thing about anyway. Nobody.
That's what I'm saying. But Fulton,
in a way, dominated Fulton. And let me say something.
Wasn't a top pound for pound fighter at the time.
He wasn't, but let me bear here. I might say something that sounds a little bit crazy after what we just saw this morning, but try to take away what you saw this morning. Who is the better all-around fighter, Fulton or Spence?
Spence, Fulton, come on, Fulton. The
okay,
guy.
see, we just recency biased. If we had this discussion and we had broken down all of Stephen Fulton's attributes prior to this morning, y'all, you think Spence is the better all around? You think Spence is as versatile as Fulton?
I think that, to me, and I don't know if I comment on that. I think that I don't think Fulton is as slick as people give him credit for it. Like, so one thing I will say, I did see him in a fight. It wasn't the Figueroa fight, but I saw him in a fight, and then when the fight was going on, I was like, it gave me a little bit of pause. I was like, his movement and other things and his hand speed may give, in a way, some credit, but I think that he can be coaxed into fighting there with you, and then fighting kind of out of his element. And I think when Spence does it under his, it's more of a kind of an ego thing. He was like, okay, people say that I can't fight on the inside of this guy, I'm gonna do it even if it's not to my benefit. People say that only reason that I can beat Mikey Garcia is just because of my size and stuff. Well, I'm gonna show that I can box and move and do these other things, even though I kind of clumsily kind of won a decision. So I think that, and I just think overall he's a better fighter. I don't know. I think
okay, fair enough. Go ahead, Dave. I'm sorry.
Now I just asking Cam. So who you got, man?
I'm sticking with the Pundits, but I think it's going to be a hard fought 12-round decision. I think that Spence. I'm going with Crawford. I think that I don't know with the thing about Spence, and this kind of goes to what I think Boston was saying, is that he is just very, very, I think he's just too responsible defensively. I think at one point he's going to realize that, I'm down, and then I'm just going to have to try to walk this guy down. And it's going to
Spence is going to realize that.
Yeah, Spence is going to realize that. And it's going to make for these exchanges. And then, so Coach, I'm with you. I'm hoping that they don't go into this fight with so much respect that they're kind of just playing this mental chess game, and then we don't really get the kind of physical chess match that we want to see. Right. I just think that, and I think Crawford is a little bit more prone to get hurt in this fight, particularly to the body, more than Spence. I think Spence is just going to be in incredible shape. I think he's going to be close to 160 pounds. maybe even a little bit more for this fight. But I think that Crawford is just going to be too versatile for him. I think he's going to make the adjustments that we want to see, and then a hard-fought decision that's going to call for a rematch. I think that he's going to win a decision.
If this fight goes 12 rounds, and if Crawford wins a decision, it won't be competitive. In order for Crawford to win a 12-round decision over here at Showtime with these guys, it cannot be competitive at all.
Oh,
No, absolutely not. If you see Crawford winning a decision, this was an Inoue. This was going to be it would be Inoue Fulton-ish in order for Crawford to win a decision, and you will still see at least one crazy scorecard. I guarantee it. You will still see at least one crazy scorecard if this fight is uncompetitive in the favor of Terence Crawford. Mark, guarantee.
Right. So we want to. Yeah, go ahead.
Wait, so I didn't give my prediction. I'll say Crawford in 9. I did say Crawford. Did I say Crawford in 9 already?
Yeah. You got
my fault. I'm sorry.
No, the only one we want to give the casual Rand. He picked Errol Spence by a 11th round TKO or KO, and so he's kind of biased. So the last time all of the pundits picked one fighter, we were on the wrong side of a decision, but we'll see how this rolls out. So but before we go, we want to make sure that you like and subscribe to this channel. Also, look out for the Pundits of Pugilism on Instagram. We're going to be bringing you some short takes and also some live footage from this weekend. We want to give up props to our man, Fuji the Fight Fan, who was over our social media. And with that said, we appreciate y'all rocking with us. Make sure that you get them subscribes up. This is Professor Nims. I'm signing out for Boston Jared.
Oh, shout out to Kendall Holt, right?
Yeah. We want to give a shout out to Kendall Holt too for following the Pundits of Pugilism. Hopefully we can get him on the show also.
Hopefully we can get that Shadeja Green interview too, man.
Yeah.
And he was
we're gonna let her take care of business on August the 5th, but
that's right.
Coming out. And we want to give a shout out to Coach Dave doing his thing.
Bro.
And in memoriam for for the casual Rand. And we are signing out. We are the Pundits of Pugilism. Peace out.
Peace.